Hey, big brother, Mr. Gatekeeper here. Get something to point with. Alrighty, man. What happened was you blew this pill right here out, and that was evident from the 10 ohm that was blown down here and your balancing resistor right here on the combiner. Okay, I'll explain why I went ahead and put a 5 watt on there. And I replaced that, and first time I keyed it took out the new resistor I put on there, so then I knew we still had a problem. At that point, since I didn't see a physical indication that it was a pill, I went ahead and took the cap off right here and checked for a short. Sometimes that will happen, and it wasn't the case. And I went ahead and checked the 120s as a short, and that wasn't the case as well. So then that's when I went ahead and took all 4 pills out. And that's when I figured out that this one on this end right here had went out as well. So these two right here in the middle are the same ones that was already in there. And, I did my best that I could with matching. But since you now have 3 different lot pills in this bank here, what I went ahead and did was put a 5 watt resistor to kind of help just in case there's any kind of transients from any kind of mismatch, so that 5 watt can soak up a little bit of that difference. That's what that's there for. It's a balancing resistor to pretty much help both sections work equally. And if one section is not working equally, it will kind of soak it up in a little bit of heat. So that's what it's there for. I usually don't put 5 watts on there, but I thought it'd be a wise choice to go ahead and put a bigger resistor on there for you, just in case. Better be safe than sorry. Okay. The next thing I went ahead and done was did a little bit of work to your input padding here. Okay. Right here on the bench, with the dead key that my bench radio is doing, which is a little bit under a watt, and I was getting a 300 watt dead key. Okay. So like the dead key came up a little bit too with the after putting them new transistors in there. So what I went ahead and did is I basically wanted to put you at about 100 watt dead key with the variable turned all the way up. So I had to play around with a couple of values of resistors here. Okay. So I went ahead and went with 268 ohms right here in parallel. And I have a 100 here going to ground. Okay. That right there brought you down to about 180 dead key. It was either 180 or 220, forgive me, I can't remember. It was 180 or 220. And then when I went ahead and did this shunted to ground, it went ahead and took care of the rest without taking anything off your top end. That's the key when you're messing with padding. You want it to bring that dead key down, but you don't want it to take off anything from that top end. Pretty much as soon as you see it taking off from the top end, you go back up a value where it didn't take off from the top end. So that right there results into this 1000 watt slug right there, it dead even with a 100 watt dead key. Okay, so that's going to give you control. And I'll ease the dead key down. That's just with your variable right there. So now you'll have more control over that with a variable. As y'all said, it'd be easier for you to turn your dead key down because I basically lowered the dead key of the actual amplifier with some input padding. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there's your 300 RMS just with the bench radio. Take away that 1000 watt slug. Put in my new 2500. Put the peak on. We're reading the top scale right here. Okay, where it says 2000. Right there at that edge will be 25. So that's 1500 to 10 is 1000. That's 500 at the very top. Oh, right there at 1,000 watts. All right, brother. I won't even hook up the hot radio. You know that damn thing be doing way over 400 bird with that. So she's back up and rolling. I talked on her a little bit too, just make sure nothing else would pop on us. We didn't get that preamp working too. Let me see if I can reach down here and indicate that for you so you can see. See if I can find somebody on her. This meter don't do too well, but if you see the increase when I turn it on, right there, off, on, off. Hold on.
600 say it looks like these conditions gonna be rough and tough this morning.
This meter right here is a little weird. That meter don't really work half the time. It's better to show on a different radio. But
Right back there, engine 137. 137, you're 61, moving right back.
But it is working. Now look. That radio don't move a lot when I turn preamps on, or the meter. I mean, it don't. I'll put that back on 21 there. All right, so I replaced your transistor on the preamp, so the preamp works. So we're gonna get this top on here, screws back in it, and get it back to you, bud. Just keep that dead key down, man, and have fun. We'll see you. Bye-bye.